Joshua, last interview was April 7th, almost 3 months ago. At the time, you were making between 1.5K to 1.8K a month, I remember. So, how are you doing now? How has everything been for you?
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, in April time I was hitting around 1.8 to about 2K, and now I'm hitting 3K, 3.8, moving up to hopefully 4 to 5 in the future. Just in the middle of
Perfect,
scaling.
okay. Now, let's give a bit of a background first before going into the money. I know I was the one who brought it up, but I would like to know how's um how's everything been in the real world? How have developments been there? Is there anything to speak about?
Yeah, absolutely. The real world's been amazing. It's genuinely been a huge help to not only my mentality, my mindset, but also my ego, my confidence. Um, Understanding that there are people out there that are doing way better than me, who are in worse situations than I am, really does give you the confidence boost to understand that it's as simple as following the steps laid out by the professor. The real world itself, there's so many things you can learn from, and there's so many things like, for instance, the UGC campus I've joined recently, absolutely amazing campus. Primarily, I stay in the freelancing campus and help Professor Dillon with the flipping channel. With that, it's really good, really good camp. Sorry, really good campus that you can join to learn how to make money from scratch, almost unlimited money bags from the different skills provided.
Hmm. Okay, perfect. So I know UGC got renamed to a content creation campus. Just clarifying for anyone who joins the real world looking for UGC and that, where is it? Did Joshua lie to me? So yeah, content creation campus. What have you been learning in that?
So not only have I been learning how to take better videos, but also how to create a better aspect of content for myself and for the brand that I'm trying to create. Slowly but surely, it's a secondary to my primary of what I'm doing at the minute, but it's a genuine help. It's an amazing help, and the people in the camp in the UGC campus are very forthcoming with information. The Pope, as they call him, is very helpful, very nice bloke, and
Right, right.
honestly, can't wait to see where it goes. There's so much up and coming for that campus that if you're not joining now, then you're missing out.
Perfect. Okay, so you just talked about creating a brand as secondary. So we can go on to that next. First, let's go to the primary thing. So I remember you're making a flipping website, right? Where you're selling replica watches at the time. How is that? Has that changed? Are you still doing that?
It has changed slightly. So basically, we stopped doing the website. We've moved to like a Telegram chat where we can just talk to people. It's a bit like a WhatsApp group, where people come in, they join, they choose items that they want. I also primarily work through online buy and sell sites like Facebook Marketplace and things like that, where I can build clients. See, primarily at the minute I'm doing flipping and graphic design. So I'm mixing a bit of freelancing with the flipping course as well, and this is what's building me up. Originally, I was only flipping 100% and doing a bit of consultation here and there. Now I've kind of put a hold on the consultation, and I've started flipping more and doing more graphic design work, which is essentially paying the bills now.
Go a bit more in depth into that. So what part? So you scaled again from about 1.5K to from 1.5 to 2K to now was it 3.5K to
Yeah, so
around
I'm
3.5K averaging? So where is that discrepancy coming from?
So essentially, what's happening is I'm taking on graphic design jobs and editing jobs, and utilizing the resources within the real world, within the freelancing campus. Been able to create a video editing team that helps me with these videos. So if there's anything I can't do, the team is jumping on it in seconds. It's an amazing reality, really, because if you had asked me in April, whether or not I'd have a video editing team, whether I'd be at 3K, I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell you. I wouldn't have been able to say, yes, I'll definitely be there. And now, if you were to ask me, will you be at 10K perhaps in another 3 months or 5K in another 3 months? I can probably guarantee you it's a yes. That's how confident I am and how crazy this app truly is. It really does bring the best out in you.
Interesting. Okay, so you've been getting new clients for video editing and graphic design. How did you acquire them?
So going through online social media, essentially just using the steps that Dylan produces in the freelance campus. They're very simple, very, very simple steps. It goes from, I think there are 8 steps that you can follow. One from learning how to create your own mindset that you need to go out there and find the clients, to DMing, prospecting, and even closing the clients themselves. So you're just using the resources within the freelance campus. I've been able to close a few clients just by going on to social media, building some rapport and commenting on their posts, DMing them and taking on jobs, showing free value for a week. And hopefully, you know, everyone seems to come back and go, yes, we love it. So it's
Good.
the freelance campus is doing the job.
Hmm. And is that part of building your personal brand, or is that something else on the side?
So far, yeah. So it's kind of on the side. I want to be able to merge it all together and to be able to create our own advertisements for anything that we're doing. Perhaps it would be nice to continue selling watches because it's something that I'm very passionate about, but it is also something that can be very time consuming. So time management, again, something that you learn within the real world, absolutely important here when trying to make everything work together.
Okay. Uh, Again, just for clarification, so you're saying personal brand is involving graphic design and video editing.
Yeah, so the brand is more for a personal brand. It's more a personal brand, trying to build it slowly. I'm not sure how far this will go. Again, it's one of those things where we test, test, test. As long as I'm testing to find out what works, then I'm going to be making the mistakes that I need to learn how to be successful in the future. So basically, the precursors of our mistakes here are going to be the success in the future from learning what not to do and what to do. With that, yeah. So my editing and graphic design is primary, but secondary to the flipping. So I make most of my money flipping throughout the day. So I'll go and find 5 to 10 items, flip them for profit, very small profit in some cases, and just build up that small amount that allows me to pay. For instance, I buy silver, resell the silver for a little bit more profit. This has kind of led me to be able to build up and given me time to search for other clients in other realms, such as graphic design and video editing.
Okay, understood. And how will this scale to 10K?
Well, I'm hoping that in the next month or so, the suppliers that we have for watches will.
Gonna have to cut you off there. Hope is not a strategy. You need to use a different word there.
Well, honestly, it's an absolute at the end of the day. I know that if I continue doing what I'm doing now, following the simple steps within the freelance campus, following the flipping course, keep making money, eventually I get better and better and better. With this, you're able to take on more clients, and this is how I'm going to scale myself. So right now we have 3 clients, and I have about 4 clients with watches. By next month, I'm hoping to have 10, maybe 5 on each 10. Just keep rising them up, keep rising clients up, and bring more clients in. The more clients we bring in, the more work we have, the more work we have, the more work we can give, and with that, the more we can scale. And hopefully, this will, well, not hopefully, guaranteed in a future, it will scale up for us.
Good. Okay, I like that. And I'll be holding you accountable in the other follow up we do. So, what about physicality in those 3 months? Any changes there?
Yeah, no. Funnily enough, every day I exercise now. It's actually something that I feel. It's something that I think Andrew's mentioned in his life. If you say you're going to do something and then you don't do it, it makes you feel terrible inside. And I think this is what happens to my brain. Is I sit there and I go, oh, I'm going to do this many press ups today, and if I don't do that, I feel terrible at the end of the day. And then I go and sit there and do those push ups. So I think just being around all these people that want to be successful, want to be the best you can be. Because I'm quite a skinny guy. I'm 6'2", quite skinny. So being the skinniest guy in the room is not something that I want to be, right? And I understand the concept of people who take care of themselves are more likely to be seen in a positive light. So what I do every day, press ups, sit ups, squats on some occasions, don't miss leg day. And just as much as I can, I drink about 4 liters of water compared to the one that I drink before when we first met. I'm just a lot healthier and a lot stronger in mind, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. And how does that feel then? Give a bit more. Now that you're doing everything, how has mindset changed and anything else to add there over those 3 months?
Well, it feels amazing. Honestly, there's obviously everyone goes through their own uh, injuries, as you say, or problems in life. And obviously, my life is no different. There are always problems going on in the background that we have to deal with respectively and progressively and professionally. But with the mindset and the fact that I've become a lot healthier over the last few months, and it's just really helped. It has completely helped. Instead of the way I say it to some of the students, is if you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. So live in the present. Be at peace with yourself, because if you know what you're going to do, you don't have to think or believe, because belief, like I said before, I think in the last one, belief is a doubt of whether we have facts or not. So believe until you can know the truth, until you know the facts, and then you'll be able to, you won't have to be worried about the future, because you'll know where you're going, you'll know where you've been, the mistakes that you've made are the successes that you're going to create in the future. So it is essentially just a matter of, over time, 1% at a time, just as Professor Dillon says, simple steps, 1% at a time every day, and over time you're going to become amazing. You'll become the master of your field.
Good. I like that. Very nice quote. So going back to, you said you have a team for video editing.
Yes.
Not sure if that involves graphic design as well for that team. Where did you find employees or people to hire?
So looking through, once you're certified within the freelance campus, you're able to now hire students. You can be hired before that, although I think you have to complete the courses. Once you've been certified, you can now hire students within the hire student section and utilize that. So you can post your little hire ad, and if whether or not you're paying them, offering them a commission, it all depends on how working with them for testimonials. There's a lot of students here work for testimonials at the beginning for free, so they can build up the strategy to charge clients in the future. And I think this is what helps. And the people that I've picked have all aligned very closely with the mindset that I have, with the reality that the cause is greater than our own. And we just want to help bring people into the real world as much as possible, because it is truly a life-changing experience. It's something that's going to really make you become the best you can be. Along with Professor Dillon being in the chats nearly every single day, showing that value that everyone needs, being the big brother that everyone wants. It's genuinely just something that everyone should join, because it really does help you become a better person.
So since you have the angle of a apprentice to Dylan, you see things differently to a student's perspective when they join. So from what you've seen from everyone starting out as new students, how easy is it to get started in the freelancing campus? How many wins have you been seeing from the freelancing campus as well?
Well, it's quite easy. It's very simple, actually, to get started into the freelance campus. It's very simple to get overwhelmed when you first join, but that's why the moderators are there, and other apprentices as well, to help you, and the captains, along with the captains, to help you. And like I said, Dylan's in the trenches, as it were, every day. So there isn't a day that goes by I haven't seen him writing an immense amount of information, so much value just pushed into the chats. So for someone to come into the freelance campus and not make any money, just means that you're not following the steps, because the steps are so simple to follow, from 1 to 8. 8 being you're building a team, 1 building your foundations. And anyone who's coming into the freelance campus themselves, that's exactly what they are doing. It's the beginning of building their foundations from the kingdom of which they will rule from eventually. So it is a very simple process to come in, go through the courses, complete them all, and then follow the simple steps, which is literally what they're called. They're called the simple steps. That's how simple they are. They're called the simple steps. And once you start following them and applying them, after a week, 2 weeks, it all depends on how much you want to put in. I've seen kids come into the real world and make £1,000 within 2 days. I've seen kids come into the real world and make 6K in a few months from lawn mowing. It truly is remarkable what we're doing. And there are kids now who are 13 paying their mum's rent. I mean, I'm hoping I can get to that point. No, I know I will get to that point. Let's not bring hope into it. I know I will get to that point. It's just a matter of how far I'm going to push.
Right. Okay, beautiful. And going back to you implementing graphic design and video editing into your process, what was the biggest challenge there? Does anything come to mind?
For sure, yeah, definitely. See, obviously there's a huge learning curve. I started learning from Canva. So you can, I'm not sure how aware you are with Canva, but it's a very simplified editing
Hmm.
tool, graphic tool. Like, so you just throw pictures in to create a picture.
I
And
have
from
Canva
there,
Premium.
well, I actually, yeah, and I joined that. I only downloaded Canva because of the professor's Insta course. So I actually have the courses again to thank for the fact that I'm now making retained payments each month from graphic design pays. But it was a simple, it is just simple because you move in and you start working on it. And like I said before, Dylan says 1% at a time. And as you gradually build, you start learning more and more. So from the graphic design perspective, I went from using Canva to using AI graphics to then mixing and matching them and then learning how to use AI graphics into video. So it's amazing really what you can do. At this point, the team and I are utilizing AI to a 100% efficiency. And it's amazing what we're learning and what we're doing along the way.
Right, right, right. Give a bit more info on that because AI is quite new. So how comes it's already being taught and you know so much about it?
After about last month, I started getting really into AI. It was something that we heard was coming to the freelance campus. We heard there were courses coming up and chats that were going to be opened up for the AI. And I just started looking into it. I think originally it was ChatGPT that I was really, really using on the AI front. Everything I needed to know, any information, anything about watches. This is where a lot of my knowledge has come from, and a lot of places where I've learned where it's told me to go and research here. So once I realized how useful ChatGPT was, I realized there must be something else we can do. There must be another platform that does similar things. For instance, now I've got something that writes for me. We needed something that speaks for us. We needed something that we can speak to and write it out for us. So just at this point, it is just making yourself more speedy, more efficient in the work that you're doing. The whole AI thing is really come about because people have started utilizing AI to create a more speedy and efficient worker. So if you're not utilizing AI at this point, you are falling behind, and that's where I had to start really stepping up to the point where I learned how to clone voices, learn how to create AI graphics, learn how to make those graphics move, learn how to use those graphics, cut them up, put them into a picture to create a 3D picture. There's lots of different things to take into consideration, but like I said, if you're not utilizing AI at this point in this day and age now, you are falling behind.
Hmm. And did you learn that from the real world or did you have to do your own research?
I mean, there was a little bit of my own research in there, but primarily I learned quite a lot from the real world. In in the actual fact is, I there were a lot of the platforms I now use were learned from reading through the chats. Just by reading through the chats within like the AI chat, even the AI beginners chat, tons of different platforms and apps being shared amongst the students, which just help you. Like, oh, you have a problem making shorts? Oh, here's an app for that. You can find out in the freelance campus, by the way. But yeah, so there's so many things that you can use to help you become more efficient. And this is why these people in the freelance campus, these students, are hitting that, like I said, proverbial glass. They're shattering the glass roof at this point. They're doing so well, and it's amazing to be a part of this because we're not just watching history; we're actively shaping it.
Or so yeah, that's two things there. One, interesting that the real world is so up to date on these things. It's like
It's
for
remarkable.
again, it sounds like I'm selling it, but for $50, you're getting up to date information. Anything new that comes out, professors are on it, right? Like instantly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I before joining the real world, I joined other online universities. I was actually trying to become a teacher, and months and months, no money made. In fact, 90% of the time, the teacher who was teaching us, the professor of the other online universities, was struggling to get a Wi-Fi connection in a cafe. I, I now learn from a guy who lives in Dubai who doesn't have to worry about cooking his own dinner. Right? Like at the end of the day, there's so much you can learn from a man who actually runs a physical business, which is what you have here as the professors. The professors are all men who are running. I don't know how insane their businesses. They're just masters of their field compared to a $70 to $150 course that's going to teach you to be broke essentially. That's the crazy part of it here is that this real world is actually truly. Honestly, I would price it 250 above. That's what I would price it at because that's what it's worth. You would make your £50 back within a week just by the flipping course alone, and that's just one course out of the 18 campuses or the 18 different ways of making money that you can use.
Right. And and second thing also was I didn't know that those AI chats existed, so I'll definitely be needing to check that out myself to see if there's anything that can help me with.
Oh, it's helped 100%. Like without that AI chat, I would not have been able to. Because obviously, once you find one thing, it leads on to the next thing. So finding something that creates video shorts for you, I said, well, what else is being made by now? And it is this point. At this point, it's just people making whatever they can with everything that they know about now, and it's amazing what's going to happen.
So yeah, thank you for all those insights. Okay, so since you're on this trajectory now, where do you see your life heading in the short term, medium term, long term? I know you gave a target of 10,000 earlier in the interview. So outside of that, what else?
I personally would love to be able to move country. Like you said, you're now living in Spain. I think that would be a lovely place to live, quite frankly. I'm not too sure if Spain is my area or not, but I would love to at least test the waters. Like I said, it's all about test. I would like to go travel to Thailand, perhaps Paraguay, and see what it's saying. I mean, I would love to go to Dubai, obviously. I think that was what we said in the last interview. I want to go to Dubai. But things change, aspects change, progression changes, and with that, we must change accordingly. So hopefully I see myself in another country, at least visiting and laying the land to just get back into traveling again. Because I'm a traveler by heart. I love traveling. I've lived in Canada, I've lived in America, I've lived in Poland, lived in other countries before. And now I just want to move again and travel again. Miss it. It's part of my blood.
Right. Okay. So traveling, goal of, and how soon do you want to hit the 10K mark?
Well, I would say hope, but we know that that's a no-no. I would like to see 10K, obviously, by next month, but realistically, give it a few months, 4 months. I'm hoping to hit 5K is the next target is to hit 5K. And then once we hit 5K, we can move on from there.
Okay. So 5K, I mean, it seems like that's not worthy of a goal though, saying 5K in a few months. Surely you can.
I'm hoping 5K by the end of this month. I'm hoping that we really push this out, get a few more clients in this month. I find out if we close a client Saturday. So hopefully we got another client closed, and if we do, then we've just scaled from 3.5 to 4.2. So we're getting close, and that's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask for.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'll be checking in another 3 months and seeing what target you've reached. So remember, I will be holding you accountable.
Let's go.
Cool. Now, to end off, I think I asked this last time as well. So let me know if you want to just say the same thing or if you have a different way you can phrase this. For people who are still unsure about joining the real world because they think it could be a scam for $50, what advice would you have to them?
Look for the facts. At the end of the day, there is enough information out there. Rumble, TikTok, Lemon8, Instagram, Twitter. There is enough information and enough pages and profiles and social profiles now for the real world that you can physically see the facts directly in front of you. There is no need to jump into the real world and be worried anymore. Everything is in front of you. All of the wins are being shown on a daily basis. If you can't find them, you're not looking hard enough. And if you're not looking hard enough, then you need to retrospectively take a look at yourself and go, hey, hold on a minute. Let's get back in there. Because at the end of the day, it is a very simple thing to do. You jump into the real world, £50, you've got a whole month to play with. If you don't like it in a month, you can unsubscribe and leave. But if you realize how valuable it is once you're in, you will realize it isn't a matter of guesswork, it's a matter of fact. Once you get in, you will see people making tens of £20,000, 60,000. One person made 60K and bought a car, retired his mum. It's amazing what's being done here. Like I said, the cause is greater than our own at the end of the day. And if you're not in the real world, then you're being swayed by other ulterior agendas that you should stop listening to, because people need to think for themselves at the end of the day. And jumping into the real world, you'll learn to do that very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Right. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much for your time, Joshua.
Thank you.
And for people who want to find out more about you or contact you, where can they do so?
You can find me on Joshua Lambert, Joshua the March Hare Lamb on Twitter.
Okay, we'll add that to the description as before.
Thank you.
And yeah, look forward to the follow up interview. And until then, I wish you all the best.
It was a pleasure.